Turning now to Wisconsin, where the mother of 3-year-old Elijah Vu pleaded not guilty to charges in connection to her son's death. Katrina Baur appeared over Zoom from jail during today's hearing. Her defense attorney entered the not guilty plea to 2 felony charges and 2 misdemeanors.
It looks like the state has filed an information earlier today. Attorney Gratz, have you received that document?
I have, Your Honor.
And do you waive reading?
Yes, it does reflect the same counts that are in the criminal complaint, so we would waive any formal reading, reserve jurisdictional or other objections, and enter not guilty pleas.
All right, is Ms. Baur wishing to exercise her right of substitution?
We did discuss that, and she is not.
All right, the not guilty pleas will be received.
Now, last month, Elijah Vu's remains were found on private property in the town of Two Rivers, Wisconsin. And then soon after, both Baur and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang, were slammed with additional charges in the toddler's death. Baur now faces charges of chronic neglect of a child resulting in death, neglecting a child, and resisting or obstructing an officer.
Vang is charged with physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death, hiding a corpse, and resisting or obstructing an officer. Baur was granted a $400,000 cash bond, and Vang was granted a $500,000 cash bond. Both were previously arrested on multiple child neglect charges after Vu was reported missing back in February.
The seriousness of this is beyond discussion. I should note, though, that Mr. Vang has been unable to post the cash previously set and remind the community that bail is not punishment. Bail is to assure his appearances.
In a criminal complaint against Baur and Vang, investigators detailed several incidents of neglect and abuse, including a healing skull fracture that dates back to the time of his death.
A child abuse pediatrician noted that, quote, the history provided by caregivers to law enforcement and messages to each other is consistent with torture. Baur faces up to 60 years in prison if convicted, and Vang could get life in prison. All
right, let's bring back in criminal defense attorney Silva Megadichian to discuss. Silva, you know, when I read the facts of this case, found out a lot more today. There was a lot of texting going on between mom and Jesse Vang in this case. One of the reasons she was sending him over to this guy because she wanted a male presence in his life, because this little guy apparently was putting on his sister's clothes and walking around on his tippy toes. I just see this as just the ultimate betrayal. This is a child who relies on his mother, and his mother's sending him to this guy who's doing, and he's telling him what the types of things that he's doing. It's just the worst.
Yeah, Michael, these cases, I think even as defense attorneys, we have problems even defending them. Everyone deserves a defense. But it reminds me, in California, we had 2 high-profile cases in Lancaster, California, where these 2 angelic little boys were viciously killed and tortured by their mother and, at that time, either stepfather or boyfriend. I think for jurors, too, these cases, they stay with you for the rest of your existence on the planet, because you wonder how and why. These, there are no words. People always ask me, how do you do what you do? And I always say, everyone has the right to a defense, and there are certain cases that give you pause. Even when I was a public defender, and cases like this, you pray that maybe they didn't understand what they were doing, that there isn't that sort of horrific evil that lives in someone. But it's a very emotional and tough case, and I feel bad for defense attorneys who also have to try their best to defend them with the eyes of the world watching them. It's hard.
It is hard. It's the unthinkable that this was done to a young, beautiful child. Every child's beautiful, but young. They can't protect themselves. They're vulnerable. Interesting to me, as a side note, that the mother has a $400,000 bond. You said it's cash bond in that particular state. And boyfriend, who probably was the one actually doing it, has a $500,000 bond. In my mind, mom failed to protect. It's even worse than the boyfriend who actually did it. That's the way I think. But talk to us about why you think, Silva, that these aren't murder charges. They're death associated to the abuse of a child, but why not murder?
Maybe because the intent is missing. I mean, quite honestly, it sounds horrible, but I had this in a case where they tried to torture, I don't want to say the gay, right? But they try to torture this feminine aspect to make this kid tougher. So there isn't an intent to kill. There is merely trying to shape whatever they think needs to be fits in that child and make it right. There could be a variety of reasons. I'm afraid we just don't know enough right now as to why they made the decision that they did. But we'll soon find out. And Judge Ashley, going back to what you said about the text messaging, I think that is also a very disturbing aspect to the case. That if you notice now, it's like we're seeing it in every single case, right? These defendants, they're really signing their own letters of conviction in a way by these text messages. And everybody can see it by a simple subpoena. Deleting your phone doesn't help. Once you put something on your phone, everyone can see it. Just another lesson that everything you do has a trail. And I think at the end of the day, that's going to be also a huge piece of evidence against the mother.
Yeah, no question about it. And they have a suitcase. They have him on video, Jesse Vang dropping off a suitcase somewhere. They found the suitcase, found the child's DNA inside. Yeah. So they've got some good evidence.
Yeah, they do have good evidence. I agree with you. All right. Thank you, Silva Megardician, for joining us tonight.